Russian military are saying that the evacuation of the remaining people inside the last rebel pocket of Aleppo is now over, that it's complete. They say that since yesterday, over 9,000 people have been evacuated, over half of them rebel fighters. They say that there's no civilians left inside East Aleppo. That's being contrasted by activists that are still in that area. Now, also the information coming from the Syrian army is slightly different. They say that the evacuation was stopped due to violations by rebel fighters. Here's my report from earlier. I'm here at the exit corridor in Salahuddin. I've just spoken to a senior general, and he said that this hard negotiated deal is off for the time being, and that's because part of the deal was supposed to see detainees from pro-government forces in the hands of rebels evacuated before the last group of rebels and their families could come out of East Aleppo. He also said that they were trying to bring out heavy weapons rather than the light weapons that they're allowed to come out with under this deal. Other pro-government media sources are saying that, in fact, the rebels that left yesterday took some of those detainees with them and also managed to smuggle out heavy weapons with them, but we have no confirmation of that just yet. They've been evacuated on this road, which takes them to the western outskirts of the city, where they're accompanied by Russian military personnel and the Red Cross. When they reach the western outskirts of the city, those that are in green buses change cars, and then they're transported further on to the rebel stronghold of Idlib, which is already packed with thousands of militants and their families that have previously surrendered in other parts of Syria under deals with the Syrian government, particularly from the province of Damascus. Others, we're told, will be able to go further on to Turkey. We've also seen some of them coming out in their own cars.
The Russian Reconciliation Center, which monitored the evacuation of both rebels and civilians from the eastern part of Aleppo, says it's now completed its work in the city. The center reports that all women and children have left contested areas and only several groups of militants remain. We discussed this with Elijah Manier, chief international correspondent for Kuwait's Al-Raya newspaper. And he said that even though the liberation of Aleppo doesn't mean the end of the war, it's still a huge step towards this.
The liberation of Aleppo means a lot for Syria because it's the second biggest city in the country, and it is the industrial city of the country. It also puts off the plan of partition of Syria and taking this important part of the country in the north into an enclave that was planned previously. It doesn't mean the war is over, but also it doesn't mean that the war is going to last for very long.